Hi there y'all, I'm Tom, and this is Empty Pantry Entrees, a place where you can come to learn all the skills you need to make delicious creations from only the odds and ends in your pantry. And today we have a real treat for you, another addition to our dips, smears, and spread series. We have a goat cheese smear with caramelized onions and diced red bell peppers on top. This is luxury at its finest. That soundbite had to have been fantastic. The real reason why I got hooked on this recipe is that myself and my girlfriend were out on a date one day, ended up ordering this appetizer, and instantly I knew that I had to make it at home. It was a classic one. I probably talked more about the dip that night than anything else. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a pretty killin' herb goat cheese smear. Stick around to see just how to make it, because honestly, you cannot live your life without this. It is a truly amazing recipe. But without further ado, I think it's about time for us to move on. Alrighty, herb baked goat cheese, not a difficult dish to make in the slightest. First step is going to be slicing up a large white onion, first in half, then again into slivers. We're going to be starting with the onions first because they take about 30 minutes on the stove to really get their deliciously deep brown color to them. Caramelized onions take a bit of time to really bring together, but man do they take a dish to the next level. Once you've separated all the slivers and prepped the onion for the stovetop stint, bring her on over and place her on a medium-low heat. Then, while you're at it, preheat the oven to about a 400-degree Fahrenheit temperature. And maybe tone that burner heat down to a low. It's all about that low and slow with caramelized onions. To help develop the flavor a bit, we're going to top these off with about 2 tablespoons of butter, a tablespoon of olive oil, half a teaspoon of salt, and about a half a teaspoon of black pepper. From here on out, you're just going to be mixing occasionally, keeping on a low heat, and then about 30 minutes later, magic happens. In the meantime though, we've got plenty things else to do. To make that store-bought baguette a bit more workable and feel like it's fresh out of the oven, we're going to toss it into a pan and let it come up to temperature with the preheating oven. Just enough to make things soft on the inside. And now on to the goat cheese dip itself. First thing is going to be a sprig of fresh rosemary if you can get it. Pull off the little pine needle looking guys, then practice your fine chopping skills to powderize this away. In the end, you should get about a teaspoon of rosemary to start things off. Don't forget to stir those onions occasionally. Next up is goat cheese. About a 10-ounce log of it will do just fine for this appetizer dish. Just make sure you leave the cheese out of the fridge for about a half an hour or so to really let it soften up just a bit. Forgetting to do so was one of my 2 biggest blunders of this dish. Can't escape them. That's just how it is for me. Topping that off then is about 1/3 cup of grated parm, as well as 1 teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes, half a teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of garlic mince, and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Now, this is the part where a softened goat cheese would make things so much easier. The tense log did not want to spread and mix as nicely as I would have wanted it to. But with a bit of elbow grease, I found that a smush and pull sort of method served to be the most effective sort of strategy. That is, until you twist and pull just a little too much and... yeah, not a fun way to retire that old silicone spatula. But with a new handle in hand, and a bit more ease and care, you can coax it into a little oven-safe ceramic dipping dish that was purchased just for this series. A little oil goes down first to prevent any stickage down the line, then plop it all in, pressing and smoothing things out to make it all even. Then into the 400-degree oven it goes for just about 15 minutes. And again, don't forget about those onions. They're looking real tasty at this point, once they've wilted through a bit and developed that sweet and savory nature of caramelized onions. If you've got a bit of stickage on the bottom, you can use about a teaspoon of balsamic vinegar to deglaze and scrape things up off of the bottom. The baguette toast is pretty simple at this point. Just slice it up on a bias to reveal that bubbly, carby goodness, drizzle in a bit of olive oil, spread it around to coat evenly, and then sprinkle on a bit of salt for extra measure, then toss them into the oven next to that beautifully sizzling cheese. Around now is honestly when I probably should have taken the dip out though. My second mistake of this dip recipe was overheating that cheese, causing the proteins to separate out. Made for a slightly grainy texture, but hey, you can learn from my mistakes, and I'm sure you're gonna do just fine. Top off your little toasties with your spiced cheese smear, your savory sweet caramelized onions, and then a few diced fire-roasted bell peppers to add a touch of acidity to the dip. And with that, you've got a fantastic hors d'oeuvre for your next get-together. Make this dip, and I'm sure you're going to be impressing all of your friends, your family, and anyone else you want to have coming around. The red pepper and rosemary spice within the goat cheese bring a bit of spice as well as a freshness to add a layer of dimensionality to that ultra savory and rich goat cheese. It's a beautiful combination overall, and I probably ate way too many of these off camera for my own good. Everything I said in the intro was 100% true. This is an incredible appetizer, and I just cannot get over how savory and delicious it is. As a topper just for a little bit of, baguette here, or the way we had it served to us at the restaurant was just with a little bit of pita bread. If you want to take that route, it's a little bit easier, especially when you're serving a crowd. But yeah, just incredible overall experience. I could not recommend this one even more to you guys. That was a terribly messy bite. But for now, that's all I have for you guys this week. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye.